Uh-oh, something happened. I got another Spyderco box on the table, and you know what that means. You guys probably already know from the title of the video. That is a Spyderco knife review. Or I should say, a first look at a new model from Spyderco, which is the Spyopera. And when I first looked at this knife in the Spyderco product reveal, I was blown away by the styling of this. This knife instantly spoke to me. I know a lot of people really like to nitpick this guy. Some people think it's ugly, others love it, and I'm in that category of where, you know, love at first sight with this brand new Spyderco model. And it was sold out for a couple months on various different online retailers. Finally, it was back in stock at DLT Trading. I picked it up, and so far, I couldn't be happier. This is a awesome little Spyderco. And we're going to be doing some size comparisons with this as well. I have a few other Spydercos on the table that we will be looking at and comparing against the Spyopera here momentarily. Let's go ahead and move these off to the side and focus in a little bit more on this Spyopera. This knife, man, like I said, I really like the styling on this. This is made in collaboration with Lionsteel out of Italy, Montelago, Italy. And man, from the moment that I really laid hands on this knife, I was like, yep, this is staying in my rotation. It's staying in my collection. I'm going to have a hard time keeping this guy out of the pocket. I'm not a huge fan of burlap micarta, but holy cow, this is so cool. I really didn't know if I would love the brown burlap, because I love OD green or, you know, military green. And I really wish this had the military green on it, but I'm going to fix that later. But this brown burlap micarta is pretty darn nice looking. It's pretty close to what it looks like here on camera. Maybe a little bit darker, not by much. And if you guys are wondering too about the finish on this, it is smooth. It's not textured. I mean, there's maybe a little bit of texture here and there, but it's mainly smooth. I thought, oh man, am I gonna like that? Turns out, it doesn't bug me as much as I anticipated. So, as you guys know, you're probably used to like your Delicas with the bidirectional texturing, and some of your other knives like the Manix that has the G10, things like that. But if you want something a little bit more dressy, but still a decently medium, I would say medium user knife, this is gonna fit the bill. When you hold it in your hand, it definitely doesn't feel like it's gonna really go anywhere. I mean, yeah, it's a little slick, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as you'd probably think. It's just a really, really nice handle on this. The curve up here towards the front, leading into the blade of the knife where your index finger goes, really, really nice. There is no serrations or jimping on the top of the ramp. It is crowned and smoothed over, which I didn't really know how I would like that either, because I've been spoiled with all these thumb ramps with jimping or serrations on them, and you know, it really does not bug me at all. There's more of a, I guess, deeper hump to this, to where it doesn't feel like your thumb is going to slip up and over that much, which is nice. It's not going to lock in there again like a serration, but it's going to be just enough. Just enough. And it feels very secure in a saber grip. If you choke up on the knife and throw your index finger up here for some more controlled cuts towards the tip. Say if you're like scoring packages open, you know, the tape. Feels very nice there as well. Yeah, just it feels fantastic in hand. I have, you know, small hands, but it definitely feels nice, gotta say. No real hot spots, maybe on the clip. This does have a wire clip, which is very nice. Nice deep wire clip, by the way. A little bit of a hot spot maybe towards the palm if you're using it. Quite exclusively, you know. Other than that, it's really comfy. Really comfy. So what kind of steel are you rocking on this? Well, you are looking at, let me zoom in here a little bit and make sure my focus is going to work for me. Boulder M390, which has awesome edge retention. I mean, this stuff is, you know, in the knife community, it's very well known and renowned as a great steel. I have this is my first M390 knife, so I'm gonna have to put it through its paces, let you guys know how I like its performance, but it should live up to its reputation. And yep, this knife is made indeed in Monalago, Italy, in collaboration with Lionsteel. And I really like this blade shape. Really cool. You know, this knife, I was thinking, I'm like, where have I seen this similar design before? And it is called the Spyopera because it's in collaboration with Lionsteel based off of the Opera knife that Lionsteel puts out. But it also reminds me of another knife that Spyderco put out a couple years back, which is the Firefly. Now, it's not as fat or as wide as the Firefly, but it definitely reminds me of a Firefly type footprint on the overall knife, especially the blade shape. That blade shape definitely reminds me of a Firefly, which I do not have one. I really missed the boat on that knife. Really want one, but maybe that'll be in the future. Let's take a look at the back spine of this knife. On the blade, as you can see, it's a crowned spine. Sorry about my focus here, guys. I'm going to try and get this better here for you. There we go. So it is a crowned spine, which feels very, very nice. Again, if you're choking up on that tip. And another cool thing is that they chamfered the Spyderco hole. So it's very smooth. Very smooth. Speaking of the crowned spine, it goes all the way back to the lock bar. I don't know how well you can tell. Sorry about this, guys. My camera's not really wanting to focus. Bear with me. There we go. That lock back is crowned. And so is the back spacer. Nice and crowned as well. Now you're looking at titanium liners, and I want to say that this back spacer is titanium. Spyderco says that it's stainless steel as well as the lock bar. Lock bar definitely is stainless steel, but I did put a magnet up to the back of this back spacer, and it does not want to stick. I don't know if it's because of the two titanium liners, but it's not wanting to stick with a magnet. Same with the hardware. The hardware has a nice star type pattern to it, makes it look a little bit more custom. Really nice touch on those as well. Those are, I believe these are also titanium. I cannot be for sure, but they won't stick to a magnet either. Let's move back, look at the lanyard hole. I really like this lanyard hole. And I'm going to be putting an OD green paracord lanyard on here after this video. A lot of people aren't really too big of a fan of the way that this is styled, but I really like this lanyard hole. Home run. Spyderco with that. I like the stylization on this. It's better than a punch-out hole. The clip is a standard wire clip from Spyderco, but again, it does carry very deep in the pocket. You're only going to have about that much sticking out, which again is fantastic. Nothing to complain about. Let's look at the lockup real quick, and then we'll move on to some size comparisons. Lockup is a lockback. Very nice and secure. No blade play at all. Nothing up and down, side to side. Very, very solid. When I got this out of the box today, it did have a little bit of blade stick, or lock stick, I should say. That's working itself out. I've had this in my hand playing with it for the past couple hours, and it's already starting to break in, which is nice. Now, the pivot is on ball bearings, and I'm not going to open this knife up today, but it is riding on ball bearings, and this is the smoothest lockback I've ever handled. Even comparing it to something like the Delica, which is amazing. This is the Zomi green and yellow Delica in the S30V blade steel. This is a very stiff and traditional Spyderco lockback feel, but very nice and solid. This guy feels just as solid, but it's way smoother to open up. I mean, you can Spidey flick this, and I'm going to fail on camera, obviously, but you can Spidey flick it. Let me see if I can do it here for you. There you go. So it is super, super smooth. Even just thumb rolling this, just going like this, it feels so good to open. Really, really nice. The liners, by the way, let's move back to those. I know I'm jumping all around. I don't do very many knife reviews, but, you know. Non-skeletonized liners. There are, looks like 4 holes cut in, but that's about it. It is very light, with the handle scales being, or the liners being titanium. Very, very light. Awesome radius and curved handle scales here. Fantastic job on that. And again, it doesn't bug me that these are slick. So, fantastic job, Spyderco and Lionsteel. Really, really awesome knife. I love it. Alright, let's do some blade comparisons and we'll get out of here. So, here it is next to the Delica. And as you can see, very, very comparable. It is pretty much the same size as the Delica. Just a little bit more cutting edge on this, on the Spyopera. And let's go ahead and take a look at, well, let's put them up like this here, so you can see the thicknesses. So if you have a Delica, there's your difference there between the two. So you can see that the spine is pretty darn thin. It looks thinner because it's crowned. But again, that blade is pretty darn close in size. 2.9 inch blade on this one. I love that Spyopera. Man, it just looks so good. Alright, here it is next to the Dragonfly. This is another Zomi one. Standard VG10 blade. And this is my wife's Dragonfly. She added one of my 350s, or not 357, 38 special casings on here with the lanyard that I made. So there it is, blade comparison wise. So if you have a Dragonfly, there you go. Pretty darn comparable. Again, the handles are going to be thicker on this one, but they look thinner because of the radiused handles on there. The convex handles. And let's take a look at another one of my wife's knives. The Native 5 Lightweight. And it's pretty darn close too, size-wise, compared to the Native 5. There you go. Just about the same cutting edge on this. Not too much difference there. Maybe a millimeter or two. There's a thickness from the back of the two there. Pretty darn nice. Alright, so there's some size comparisons and a quick look at the Opera. I will report back in if I have any issues or anything like that. And I'll let you also know how I'm liking this in the future. So be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't done so already. If you want, I'm not going to make you, but if you'd like to, go ahead. It really helps out the channel, and give it a thumbs up too if you want. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching the video. And man, I love the look of this Lionsteel Spyderco collaboration of the Spyopera. This thing is just so freaking cool. If you haven't got one yet, really pick one up. Highly recommend DLT Trading. And man, just a sweet, sweet knife. This is a super dressy, not even really super dressy, but I would say like a medium dressy knife. I mean, you could stretch this into like an everyday carry or a dressy occasion type of knife. Just an awesome all-day user. Good office knife too. Like if you use this at lunch or something, no one's gonna bat an eye. Really, really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a lanyard on this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.